Hi guys. So I was out for a walk and I was thinking about some things that were said during my weight loss journey, and now that I've lost some weight, I noticed that when I was close to 190, no one disagreed that I wasn't fat. But as I started losing weight and I got to 160-ish, I started getting a lot of comments like, oh, you're not fat, you don't need to lose any more weight. Oh, you're not overweight. Why are you eating healthy? You're perfectly fine. You're a perfect weight. But I had to keep reminding them and myself that that isn't true. Because in today's society, we see so many overweight, obese, morbidly obese people that is like the new norm for us. And we're so used to seeing that weight that when we see somebody who is maybe 30 pounds overweight, we think that they're perfectly normal and that they don't need to lose any weight. And it's just crazy that that's what we've kind of accepted as the new norm. It doesn't matter that, a healthy BMI still matters. It seems like when I would bring that up, I'm like, according to the BMI index, I am still overweight. And I was not even trying to get to the low end of that. I was just trying to be a healthy percentage of fat. And of course, the motorcycle. And so, it kind of, I had to keep reminding myself that I was still overweight and that I did still have a percentage of body fat that I was not happy with, because everybody was telling me that I was fine, that I was normal, when I actually really wasn't. And so I think it's important to keep in mind that because we see so many obese people now, we're getting up to 50% of the population. Go out to the store, look around. I want you to basically fixate on that. I want you to look at every person that you see and tell me if you think that they're overweight. And I bet you when it gets to those 30 pounds that people need to lose, you'll start noticing that, well, they look normal. But think of how many obese people there are. That was one thing that really motivated me when I was starting my weight loss journey and I kept plateauing all the time, was that some people say, well, at least I'm not the fattest person. And so that's kind of their excuse not to keep continuing. But that's what brought me to the beach, that I wasn't the biggest one. But when you're looking at that, you have to realize that, use it as motivation. When I walk through a store now, I look at people. And I look at them very in depth and I'm like, I do not want to be that size. I do not want to be that size. Am I about that size? It's very hard for me to even realize what size I am now, because I went from a 16, 18 down to an 8, and I'm segueing into a 6. So for me, I still feel like a 16 or an 18. And when I put on pants, I'm like, why are these so big? And I'll look and they're still 14s. So I'll pull them off, and I've tried to throw them away, but I'm super saver, so I'll probably donate them to Goodwill and go get me some size 6s. But that helped me a big time, being motivated, looking at people, realizing that I do not want to be that. And a lot of times, especially in a grocery store, when you're at an impulse section, and Walmart has all that whole baking section that you have to stay away from. That's right next to the produce. That's what I just look at people, and that's kind of my motivation in there to keep on track and to make sure that I'm paying attention to my BMI and getting a healthy weight. Because if you don't see it in you, and you don't see it in other people, you're going to be in trouble. You have to have something to compare to. And for me, You know, the BMI index has been around for a long time. I used to say, well, you know, that's relative to people, and I still think it is, but they give you plenty of gap in between like the lowest end to the highest end that you can definitely fit somewhere in there. So yeah, I've walked up to strangers before and I've asked them how much they weigh, if they're about my height, and what size pants they're wearing. It's kind of weird, but like I still feel so huge. And I really wasn't even that huge, not compared to the rest of my family. Like my aunt at one time and my grandma, like they're like in the 300s. So like I never felt that big, but I felt big, and I still feel big. And it's hard to even look at myself in the mirror and not see a fat person. Pay attention to those around you, and you know, use that as motivation, and realize that, you know, a BMI is a good goal. And don't let anybody tell you that, you know, you're not overweight if you feel like you still are and you are not a correct BMI. So I just wanted to kind of throw this video in there because it just was bothering me that all these people were telling me that I didn't need to lose weight when they are definitely overweight, obese, morbidly obese. They see me as skinny because they are so large. So for me, I needed something to gauge my own weight on, and so I used the BMI. So I thought I would throw that in there. Maybe it'll help somebody kind of keep their eye on the prize and take a look around and just notice the actual problem that there is. Like I guess I didn't really notice that much that there was a problem, and statistics are great, but when you really start paying attention, yeah, my sister happened to mention that she was in a new health food store and like everybody in there was skinny. Like pay attention to that even. What are they buying? What are they eating? Yeah, I pay attention to all that stuff. Just because maybe I'm nosy. I don't know. But thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys have a blessed day.